ahead and both of you give me grapple checks. Or not grapple checks, but, you know, acrobatics checks at disadvantage. This chorus of comes in around you all.
18.
Your arms are overladen. 18. And Eliza, you have a...
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
We both rolled that 20
Wow.
at disadvantage.
Still 23. She rolled a 20
Wow.
at 19. Damn.
Alright.
Baba's like, oh, forget Eliza's like, don't touch me.
She just slips out.
I'm
Alright.
at a stern look.
Now, first, before that ends, I need to roll their attacks. So it would be...
I do have mage armor up still. I believe.
It's 8 hours.
I believe I put it up as soon as we started running. As soon as Gonzo showed up, I was like, nope, fuck this, armor.
Oh.
So, what's your,
16 AC.
Shoot.
Alright. And... then that would be the same thing for Eliza. So, yeah. Alright. You both take... D8 plus 3, 1d8 acid damage.
Not poisoned.
How are the coats made with like poisonous ink?
Teeth on the inside of them, and there's this long, like, the tag on it. You know, like the worst tag you've ever had on a coat, scraping at the back of your neck. That's what this thing's doing, but with a little slick of acid down your spine as it goes impossibly far down. And you're reaching back trying to grab it so you can pull it off. And you are managing to pull this thing off rather deftly, but not before you feel as its teeth on the inside of the coat actually cut right into you. And as you fling them off to the side, suddenly silence. All the coats go back to being normal coats. You don't touch those two. You grab one last coat, and it's fine. And you give it to Hanu, and Fee comes around the corner, and she's like, I found one of those cassette players. Oh, you two look rough. What happened to y'all?
I feel rough.
As you first, for that, take 5 points of piercing damage, and then 4 points of acid damage. And then Eliza, you take piercing damage.
How much?
And 1 point.
8 and 1.
You both ended up taking 9 points of damage.
Oh my god, you guys got in sync.
Yeah,
I know, it's crazy. Y'all mirror each other so much, it's nuts. You go from 43 down to 35.
yeah, you'd see like she looks.
34.
Yeah, she's.
I've already
looking
lost
at,
5 hit points though.
She's looking at you guys concerned, like it almost seemed like she was about to cast a spell, but seeing that you guys got out of it, she has that look on her face where I'm gonna try to lighten up the situation. Yeah, they don't do push-ups every day. You know, got tangled up in the coats very fast. Come on, let's go pay this out.
Did we hear the mimic start up again? Or was that just you really loving
For
them?
just a moment, and you kind of no, you hear it for just a moment, and he goes, "Okay, that was weird.
Mm.
Yeah, let's get out of here."
Yep, let's go.
You walk up towards the aisle counter, and your total purchase price ends up coming out to a total of 60 gold, actually.
Babette
40 of
just
which ends up getting paid by fee.
40.
Yeah, so that leaves you with 25.
Babette puts
Yeah.
2 platinum and 5 gold down.
Yeah, Eliza would also contribute.
That's it. That's all of it. Just pay me back.
That's all of it. Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
There you are.
As she's leaving, she's like, I only have 8 gold on me. She's just looking at you guys confused, like, that's a lot of money for Avil, right? Are prices usually this inflated?
No, this is pretty extreme.
Well, I guess it's been quite a while, though. Everybody's just gotten really, really rich. I mean, there's a lot of vehicles driving out there.
I guess. I heard, like, the sound of the ocean, though. I don't know what that was. It sounded like wheels at the same time. I'm kind of curious about that.
Oh yeah, when we were running, we bumped into somebody, and it sounded like they were going on the ocean, but then the ocean stopped. We didn't get to open our eyes, though, because things were getting really spooky.
But we can hear a sound, so
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but there's no store we want to go to. We could see where that sound is coming from. That could also
We
be a
should
really fast
probably-
mode of transportation, too.
We should probably warm up our
Yeah,
comrades first.
exactly. We are meeting as we're walking to the meetup point. I'm like, yeah, well, fine with that. But fast
Make
mode of
your way out
transportation, guys, that might... It's like bicycles, except not.
The loudness is what worries me.
Armin and his crew end up snatching those coats from you and making their way back around to the other side of the street. And you guys instead end up doing like kind of a similar circuit that they just did, but in the opposite direction. Meandering your way back towards the garage. Each of y'all's group brings
She
go
will...
call her.
She will try to pick up a newspaper and catch up on if there's any more news about everything with the Queen and whatnot.
Yeah. It ends up costing you a copper piece, nothing. Dive in there, pull out this newspaper. There's a Lente is dead. He has his funeral
Why that bitch
next
getting a
weekend.
funeral? Sorry.
Babette says out loud.
Funeral is expected to draw top brass from Yellum, as he is going to be remembered with honors for doing great things for the Yellumite Empire, etc., etc.
Oh, that bitch fucking
I
helping
know.
the Yellowmites.
Hmm,
That dick is helping the Yellowmites.
that's good to know.
Oh,
Interesting.
oh, the fucking dick.
Hmm.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Honey narrows
I'm not
her
there.
eyes and just slips.
You're
this
reading it, you're walking past a movie theater kind of joint, people kind of coming in and out of it. There's posters along the side of it, and it's just a couple of showings. Well, the top thing on it has like a thing saying that they have martial arts movie or martial arts marathon Mondays, and something called Enter the Shadow King with some guy named Bradley. Pretty big.
Yeah.
Um,
Just take a note of this. Like, oh, actually, that does seem fun. Martial Art Mondays. It's like
currently airing, there's something called Tricky Business with some dude named Tom Sales.
Tricky business.
Tom Sales. It's spelled Sails.
Yes.
Yes.
Tom Sells.
But what immediately ends up catching your attention is the title Lone Wolf. It like a light backlit, right? And on a snowy night on the side of this street, right? Next to the river. And there's a frozen river or the frozen lake on the other side of it. And then there's just the backlit light of this movie poster outside of this cinema. And it's saying The Lone Wolf. It's not quite what you imagine, but the name immediately popped in the whole desert kind of look, right? The guy on the front of it, you know, like isn't what you would imagine from your stuff. It's not a wolf at all, right? It's actually it's a bull, right? It's a man bull. It's a minotaur, right? The actor evidently has the name underneath. It says Buck Taurus.
Fuck Taurus.
Okay.
Movie is it says The Lone Wolf.
I don't know. The sounds like slander, but I have no idea if it means like the actual like whatever. Sounds interesting though. I have to admit. Looking at Martial Art Monday and Lone Wolf, and then
Gives you this
realizing-
incredulous look at it, and then you see at the end of the row of this, as you're walking past the theater, a poster for something that's got your group name in it. The Paradox on Witch Hill. It's got a silhouette that like all you can see is like a horizon shot with a silhouette, this blood moon on a hill, and the number of figures on there and their silhouettes kind of lines up with some people that you know, right?
Huh.
The movie came out last year, I guess. Yeah, 1982.
Is this a historical reenactment, or is it just fantasy? Because we're not here to tell them, please don't say that. She looks at the figures, trying to suss out who they are. Aside from
who all of the group.
There's a couple of extra ones in there that makes it a little bit hard to be able to suss it out. Do notice everybody that is currently with your group, like here in general, is there silhouetted. I mean, there's a very minotaur silhouette there. Yeah, but well, you see Babette and Eliza, the way they're kind of just standing next to each other is literally the same silhouette that is cut out right there. Like it's like oh whoa, we have a pose and I didn't even realize it.
So everybody in the group surrounding us, not just everybody in the group of whoever got thrown into the future, right?
Everybody in your group paradoxes.
Paradoxes, okay, yeah. Interesting. I heard there's. She looks around for a bit. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, I was hearing people talk about this back in the day. I feel weird saying that in 39. But Witch Hill is witch. I think that's a song that had like really like a lot of fire and yellow. Just saying. Who knows if the same witch hill?
Looks spooky.
Maybe.
You guys want to go give it a look? I mean, we have a couple of hours to kill.
It's like a witch's house? Is that what you said? I missed it.
It's a.
So you're standing outside of a movie theater, and there's a bunch of movie posters backlit on the outside of the theater. And of them down the line, the one at the very end is called a paradox on Witch Hill, like witches on broomsticks.
Okay.
But, you know, the play on words seems to be
intentional.
Important.
Yeah.
Eliza,
Intentional.
interested in seeing that.
Okay.
We'll just make sure to
Sure.
stay by the aisles.
I mean, also look for the exit automatically.
Yes.
I do know some people get sick during movie showings, so why don't we go to the closest towards the exit, the escape exit, and that
Perfect
should be
idea.
fine. Alrighty, sure. Let's go.
He goes up towards the ticket booth, and she kind of just like leans in, taps on the glass where somebody was, reading a newspaper, and they turn their radio down on the other side, and they're just like, "What you watching?" Like, "For tickets for a paradox on Witch Hill." Alrighty, that'll be 4 silver.
Okay.
4 silver each, or just 4 silver in general?
4 silver total.
Perfect.
Okay.
Babette throws in
Next
2
airing
silver.
is in 10 minutes.
Okay.
If you want to catch like the commercials or trailers and stuff, you might want to get in there early or grab some snacks.
Babette hands in 2 silver.
Yeah.
Exit.
And we'll get the other 2 then.
Exit. And
I'm hungry.
tickets suddenly pop up on the other side through these little slots. You each take it and just tear it right off from the thing, and got it. You can see printed on it. Yep. 10 minutes. Thing is set to start.
I mean, that's.
Go inside, and it's mostly suede. It looks like it was an old like opera theater at one point in time. It's been kind of retrofitted, so it still seems to be pretty similar. And she goes, "Oh, actually, I remember this place. It looks completely different on the outside now. I almost didn't recognize it."
Does Babette also recognize it now that she's inside?
Yeah, you've seen it before.
Cool.
I mean, I'm kind of uncomfortable staying in one position for so long, but if you want to sit, sure, let's watch these. What do you say, commercials? Previews?
We'll have to find out.
Sometimes they show things for other movies that are out.
Yeah, how common are movie theaters for our time?
Your time? Not at all. You've never seen a movie theater.
How the
You've
fuck
never even
does
seen
Babette, or how does the fuck does he know?
You've never seen movie. You've never even seen movie. It wasn't one of these. It was an actual theater. Like she knows this. She's like, it looks completely different from the outside.
Oh,
On the
okay,
inside,
so she's
it
just
still
saying
looks like
they
the
just
opera.
sometimes do shit like this in the opera too.
You're thinking they're actually going to a theater. They're gonna act it out. So not knowing that's gonna be a movie theater.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh,
feels around
okay.
right now. Yeah.
Like you have no idea that there's film involved with this.
Oh,
at
okay.
all.
Cool. For some reason I thought that there might be
There's
like
no
there's like
rationalization.
one.
No. This Steve thinks it's gonna be an actual theater. Like they're gonna live action through this.
During the meeting with Frederick, when Zale and Zarman went and met with Frederick showed off a short film projection of 6 seconds. It was advanced technology.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if Zell was there, he'd be like,
watch a multiple long film with color and sound.
Are commercials just like Newsies? You know, they stand at the corner and just tell you stuff? What? I'm confused.
Oh man, this
Just
is
sitting
experience for you
down, like,
guys.
huh.
Our minds are about to be fucking blown.
It sounds like the word for, and starts talking about people that shout at the side of streets and stuff. There's a word for commercial is pretty much the same word in Australian for street crier.
Mm.
And you're kind of just like chatting about this as you make your way in. Somebody kind of like looks at your ticket, and you're kind of guided to a place, and the food in there, is fairly pricey. There's something called popped corn.
Yeah. She's like,
Babette is gonna be like, no, I don't want to spend
nah,
any
I
more
got
money
my
than I
good
have to.
berries from this morning. I'm fine for the day. I don't know about you
You're
guys.
the weird people that go to the movie theaters. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I got you.
She's also gonna scan the room to see any exits, potential obstacles, anything at all. She's spinning these lists next few
Yeah,
minutes.
Babette is going to also be doing that. I will assist if we can do that.
But she's doing that.
You can both give me separate ones.
Okay.
Eliza is
Perception?
y'all's tickets in and figure out where it is you guys need to go for y'all's theater.
Perception, right?
And
Oof.
Oh my god.
perception.
These rolls, man, are not with us tonight. They're like, we want you to die.
Well, good thing we've got Eliza.
Yeah. Time's getting back.
There are moments where she's looking at some stuff that's like, and that'll be perfect to vault over. Wait a second, our eyes might be closed.
Cheaply made food that is extremely overpriced. That, as far as you can tell, is there because they don't allow you to bring food in. There's a little arcade area attached to this. You immediately note the Gonzo the Gardener arcade game in there and say that's probably not somewhere we should hang out for the next 10 minutes. And yeah, maybe going in to see the early showing will be there. Other than that, not really anything to note. Nothing surreal or supernatural. The way people dress is strange. There's a lot of here a weird eclectic mix of high aristocratic fashion. I mean, you see like a group come in and they're all just silken shoulder pads, right, and swooped hair, and they seem like they're going through a completely different world than a couple of these, scroungy teenagers with their leather jackets and scarves are coming in, and they it seems to be a definite mix of cultures in this area for this. The theater itself, very well put together. I mean, it's in a nice old opera house, and some of the food stuff is a little tacky and cheap. Overall, like, they haven't cheated out on the quality of the ropes are actual velvet type of stuff. And you guys make your way into a very dark lit theater room and find a couple of seats. And there's the curtain at the other end, but pulled down in front of it is a long sheet of some kind that is not like the curtain that is behind it. It's really dark and hard to be able to see, but you've got a good eye for it, and you notice in the back of the room at the very top that there's a booth and a doorway that is almost impossible to see in this dark, right? And but there is a doorway that enters into a booth at the very top where some sort of lensed object, perhaps a camera, is pointed out into this room. And just as you're wondering about it, it flickers with this light that almost makes you have to blink and look away. And you take your seats down in one of these rows. And there's people whispering and talking, most of them in like mixtures of either Avalian, Elvish, or Yellowmite Dwarvish. And there seems to be like a whole group of soldiers sitting in a couple of rows ahead of you guys. Dark black military garb, Yellowmite patches. As these commercials play, they seem to be things for like advertisements for beauty products of some kind. It's all in Avalian Elvish. But after that, this long message that at first is just a picture of the Yellowmite flag. And this kind of trumpety music plays in the background. Those soldiers that are down at the bottom actually stand up, and you see them all salute during this portion as that song plays. And some voice overlay and just a shadow is kind of is cast next to that flag, right? And there is no person, it's just the shadow and a voice overlay, and there are subtitles. It's in Yellowmite Dwarvish, all of it. And that thing ends up playing, and they sit down, and there is a couple seconds pause as the lights kind of flicker and get dark, and the lens goes out, and there's no light anymore for a moment. And he's like, that was a moving picture, guys. Did you really see all of that? There was sound and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That kind of. Huh. She's mind blown for a moment. I mean, I'm used to seeing moving pictures, but that was like. A lot. Ah. Oh. She'll nudge Fee. Could I hold my bird for a second? I kind of need him.
I made sure to keep him safe and warm. Okay. And then she hands him over.
Alright, she'll put him in her shirt and snuggle with him. She is overwhelmed, so she's finding comfort in her little owl.
Yeah, this movie a lot of overwhelming shit.
It's like, oh gosh. What the heck happened?
Light flicks back up again. You all see as this slow kind of panoramic shot comes in, and there's this kind of just soft, oddly almost techno-like song playing into the background, right? It's very metallic or synthetic sounding, warbled. And as it comes in, this aerial view is going across a canopy of trees, and it's not winter, so this isn't a scry. You're not seeing a scry, but it seems like you are. You've seen this sort of aerial look, right? Mm-hmm. And the sky effect it sometimes has. But it's icy outside, and this is got to be somewhere in the middle of like summer. Still green on the trees, and it's swirling in over the top of them. And there's this long stretch of road between it. And you see as this car is moving along the top of it, a Strauss-mobile. And not just any Strauss-mobile. Eliza, that's fucking your Strauss-mobile. That's the family car. And it's driving up this long road through this forest as this swooping aerial view comes in tighter and tighter and tighter. And it follows it through this mountain range and past these quaint little Yellowmite homes until all of a sudden there's this loud whistling sound as it goes by this train track, and it cuts the strange transition to a tea kettle whistle going off. inside of a room, and there's this just the sound of the tea kettle and a sudden switch of perspective, and you can see in front of you a house that had been silhouetted on the poster. The next several minutes, the story or between a couple of different characters that are not you guys. You're like, well, maybe this has nothing to do with us after all. That was weird. The poster seems so much like us. The title sequence said, a paradox on Witch Hill, but then after it faded out over the skyline and it had that sudden whistle transition to this house, which must be the witch house. It's just a family there, and a kid that wanders off for a moment and almost gets ran over by a car, and there's some strange thing going on with I guess animals being resurrected from the dead by being buried in a particular burial ground.
Does Eliza
And
recognize the house? Like, does she know what house it is?
no, you've never seen it. This is somewhere, as far as you can tell, in Yelm. The nearby village, everybody speaks in Yelm. There's subtitles to the whole film, but there is common interspersed amongst the Yelm. None of them seem like they're actually Yelamites, and when they speak, either that or they just have really good Avalonian accents. But they sound very, Avalonian when they speak. But when they go to the village, they're always talking in Yelamite, which is this very dwarven-like language. And there's a brief moment where finally a scene ends up happening where the cat that had just been recently brought back from the dead ends up rushing out into the village, and it's attacked, and starts scratching several of the people, and they end up calling the father and being like, hey, you need to get your animal down here. We saw it with that, charm necklace. We know it's yours. There's something wrong with that thing. We've called animal control and stuff, but you should get down here anyways, because they're going to come and call you as it is. And he's like, oh, dang it. This is all coming to bite me. And he's like, this is a really scary film, actually. But I don't really see what any of this has to do with us. I swear that was us, you guys in the poster, wasn't it?
I think it's called like build up and the scene. I mean, it's probably where the draw. They're trying to tell a story around it. That's what I said. It's a historical reenactment or just fiction at this point, or historical fiction.
He's following after the cat that he sees moving between, through the alleyways. And he's chasing after, but it's always just moving around a corner when he comes into the next scene. And then all of a sudden, you hear the sound of car tires and honking, and he rushes off to the side thinking, someone must have, ran over the cat. But it's not the cat. In the middle of this freaking street is a doorway. Just a doorway. It's just like the frame of a door that's just been removed out of the door space, and the door is kind of wide open, right? And there are cars that have kind of spun out around it, right? And the camera kind of rises up, to the sort of higher vantage point as the father walks towards this wreckage, and the cat kind of just brushes in between his legs, and he doesn't even notice it for a moment as he's just too transfixed on it. And then the cat walks between the doorway and around the other side, and it's just a doorway. And
oh, this reminds me of Victor for some reason, guys.
next camera thing, somebody you hear ahead of you goes, "That's it? Ah, I've been waiting for it. That's the Victor thing." No, man, you didn't notice it a couple of scenes back? There was another whole doorway thing. They made the homage to Victor way before that. And like somebody else is like, "Shh, I'm trying to watch a movie here." And uh, um, see as the thing ends up showing, the next shot is Eliza's car parked outside of the witch house, and you see as the door opens and the camera kind of moves in on its next shot, and stepping out from the doorway, I'm Gonzo. Gonzo. Right after him.
Oh.
And he takes a couple of steps forward to look through the frame, closing your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Just when Lily thinks she's gonna get any amount of insight.
Yeah. What a fucking cock tease.
Oh.
Eliza, are you keeping your eyes open or closed?
Oh no.
Closing, but I am so frustrated. You guys can just feel it.
Yeah.
We feel her fuming and
closes
shaking.
her eyes and like feels around for Eliza's face and claps her hand over Eliza's eyes.
Well, she closed her eyes, but
she's making sure you don't take a peek later.
Fair.
Oh,
get the fucking answers. Oh, what are you guys doing?
So, should we?
She closes her eyes and she grabs both. She grabs Eliza's hand and Hanu's hand, and on either side of her, and she's just like, "So are we staying here? The scary movie just got a lot scarier."
I think we should probably leave. I've got enough information that something might be going on. Let's go to an exit, guys. She'll start tugging.
All right, you take the lead. And with that, I need you to roll me a d4.
Uh-oh. Okay, collide with each other. Ooh, 1. That'd be good.
All right. So, as you make your way into like the next section, you're trying to find your way through to the exit and stuff, just based off of where you'd remembered it being. And you push through one of these doors, and like immediately, somebody goes, "Hey, stop standing in front of the screen like that. Take a seat already." Somebody else yells from the back, and you can hear like coming up over the screen and stuff, just like this clip. Sounds like some sort of film going on. Like Arthur for a moment. You thought you heard his voice in it, alright? You off, and I'm like, huh? Are you trying to make your way to another thing, or are you gonna try and take a hide?
Okay, so so we went through another door into another
to another theater. As far as you can tell, your eyes are closed.
Yeah.
You hear a new film in the background.
Okay, yeah. So we're just walking parallel. So she'll try to move up as high as possible and then try to hide the group.
Okay.
And if she hears the just so we get out of the way, but also to kind of reorient herself. And she's gonna be so we're gonna go up the aisle.
You feel that same kind of
yeah, go ahead and give me stealth checks.
Oh boy.
You feel a little less. As soon as the door closed behind you, you felt like you were in a completely different place all of a sudden, right? Pressure relieved off of it. There's a sudden weird, awkwardness of like, oh shit, people are yelling at me to sit down
Yeah,
now.
so we're
right?
like, oh shit, sorry.
How was I just running?
Oh, sorry about that.
All right.
Okay.
That me
Nice.
and then
Stuff.
Eliza.
Nice,
Heck
guys.
yeah.
You guys settle down, and when you look up at the thing, you realize that it's that Minotaur, a buck Taurus up on the stage, being projected once more by this the strange film projector. You watch the rest of this for a little bit, and you end up realizing that pretty much it's like okay, so Buck Taurus isn't going by Buck Taurus in this, and that must be his actor name, but that you have sussed out of this, right? And so you realize that this isn't real. These are not like scries. These are not historical reenactments, probably even. This is fiction. I mean, that's an actor up
Yeah,
there.
this is theater, and somehow they managed to capture it so that it could be replayed.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And he's playing somebody named AJ McFisher, member of the Dusk Rangers who goes renegade after he decides to set his sights and his fists on the drug kingpin responsible for his partner's death. And it's mostly like a really bad martial arts movie.
Yeah.
Alright? Like Hanu, you're watching it and you're just like, that doesn't look real at all. They're not hitting anybody.
She cringes and closes her eyes because she's ashamed of what's being
Yeah.
shown. Oh!
And Babette would kind of lean over and say, I think a lot of these are plays. I don't think they are any kind of historical reenactment.
I've never been to a theater before, but I'm not impressed at all by what I'm seeing. And she'll open her eyes again and see what's going on. I kind of want to leave because it's bothering me, but I'll sit here if you guys want to.
I honestly think that.
No, I think that everything's safe now. We should probably go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before things get all weird again.
That's a good idea.
Probably. Okay. Well,
Babette grabs Eliza's hand.
she just, as she's doing this, she's quickly writing things down on her little notebook, that little pocket-sized notebook that she has of, interesting, Dusk Rangers. Yeah, well, that is actually a group that I think I've been hearing about them. Really distant, though. Nothing really comes out of Wildever too often.
Buck Taurus was playing somebody named AJ McFisher.
Yeah, AJ McFisher. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. So
he sometimes went by the name Artie.
Yep.
There's other people called him Artie.
Okay. So yeah, she will write down whatever that was going on in the Yellum film, just question mark of legitimacy, and then she will
the
write
Paradox
down,
one?
Yeah, and then she'll just write also more question marks, but Artie McFisher, Lone Wolf, who is this Minotaur? I know! Very suspicious owl drawing she has next to Buck Taurus. Who are you, sir?
Buck Taurus.
Oh. Why do I feel like there's a lot of memes about you? I don't know why.
I hope you know this means that we have to meet him as a child now when we get back to the past.
Yes, I know. Oh god. Yes.
Okay, well, what time is it?
Right now, after having gotten through those movies, it is currently 4 p.m.
Okay, well, we got an hour to spend. Why don't we go track down at least what those small bicycles were? I have no idea what they are, but I'm calling them small bicycles at this point. And then swing by to them.
Alright, you managed to find a shop, and while you're there, go ahead and give me an investigation check. But you can give me one.
Are there also, because you said this came out like a year ago, is there any critic reviews or anything else about the paradoxes at Witch Hill?
While you were there, you didn't be able to see anything on it. No, not really. You did overhear enough that to realize that a paradox act seems to be a series of films. There are a bunch of them.
We got Avenger. That's basically what happened to us.
No, we got Freddy Krueger, bitch.
Yeah.
There's a paradox at Witch Hill. There's a paradox, at Chaubignon. There's a paradox at World's End. There's a paradox. I mean, it goes on. There's a bunch of them, guys.
When we are in
the
when we're in the shop as we're paying for whatever, or just as we're talking to the clerks, Bevitt would just be like, "I just came from the theater. We saw Paradox on Witch Hill. I wasn't a fan of the ending, but what's your thoughts on it?" And just kind of get people's opinions on it.
Good way of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Give me investigation checks.
And then can I give some kind of charisma-based check for the schmoozing?
It still just falls underneath investigation.
Dang it!
I mean, seeing that, I would have just given you guidance. Be like, "You're the spy here. Get information." And she just gives you a little pat on the shoulder.
Oh yeah, and I'm always holding Eliza's hand at this point. So, can I have Eliza's thing?
Eliza's like, "Bitch, watch this."
Yeah.
That gets my automatic human inspiration.
Cool.
She's like,
I don't just try and remember that.
She's like, "I don't need this." She gives you inspiration, and then she gets a nat 20 on her investigation check. Though
I was looking for something completely different though. Like I was schmoozing.
Yeah. And so as you pretty much just try and find which people to ask this from, you end up finding a couple of people that seem like, film aficionados, and there are more than 20 different Paradox films. A couple of ones that, they seem to consider as being actually remakes, right? So they've actually remade a couple of Paradox films. The Origin film seems to be a popular remake. It's been redone 3 times.
And what
evidently there's some continuity of the origin of the paradoxes that creates a lot of liberal liberties for reinterpreting it.
Yeah. But my other question is, what seems to be the vibe of the paradoxes in the films? Like, are they antagonists? Are they protagonists?
Oh, they are protagonists.
Oh.
They seem to be seen as people that show up to solve problems and beat up bad guys. Right? Their films run the gamut from being high octane action war things to being supernatural thrillers.
Okay.
They seem to blow between the supernatural thriller ones. It's like the mystery side of them that usually deals with hauntings and supernatural stuff. And then there's the war side of them. And they seem to have been heavily involved. After the events of that film, which you guys didn't get to see the end of, and go ahead and give me a persuasion check now, because
because as she kind of gains more and more knowledge about it, she's gonna start talking like she's seen more of the films, or half watched them, and just kind of use theater language.
But also be like, I know this group's chaos.
As you mentioned, having a didn't much care for the last end of that. Give me
That was
persuasion
supposed to be
check.
persuasion. It's the same modifier though, so 28.
You know the group's chaos, so you can probably
Yeah.
like ad lib a lot of things in
Exactly.
there. So you're like, listen.
So they end up being a little off put by that initially, and the fact that they it was because of the events that they ended up actually allying with Yellum.
Okay.
And
As soon as they start
most
getting
people
off
look
put
like
by it, she kind of goes, "Oh, I just didn't like the direction they took it artistically." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, oh yeah, you know, it was a little like, you know, cheesy, and some of it's like horror attempts on. I mean, we get it, you know, Yellow Witch Hill, spooky and stuff, right? But this is the paradoxes we're talking about. Like, do you think that they would ever actually be that scared of something that they would just like, you know, and then goes on about it and shit. And
I don't like this conversation. Right now we're running for our lives.
Also during this, find out that thanks to that Nat 20, the palace isn't the palace. The palace actually is a military like headquarters now. It's not actually open. Except for like during special ceremonies and stuff that they do every once in a while. But they you also the palace that was being mentioned there, they go, oh, yeah, that's like a really hip place to be right now. Artists and, you know, musicians and all kinds of crazy people spend a lot of time there, like all over too. Avalon, Yellum, and so it seems to be some sort of like they specifically described it as a cesspool of art, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And where the rich and the famous and the mad all kind of brush elbows together. And
that sounds like a fun place.
Kind of a big deal. Like it's hard to get through the door because they don't like the criteria. It seems to just change, right? And unless you're on the in group, right? And there's like only a few people on the in group, and those people are all like super celebrities and shit.
Why am I getting like such a mix of Blue Crew vibes and fucking Wisteria vibes right now? I am having so many mixed emotions right now.
There's a movie called After Hours that's from the 80s, and it starts off with just this guy in like an office, and it just slowly gets weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder, and ends with him just going to work the next day, absolutely wrecked by all the weird shit he's happened. This club gives me the vibe of a place in that movie. I don't know if you've seen it, but
crazy.
Well, I still don't. This is a lot to take in right now. She's like getting notes from you guys and just scribbling it up like, huh. All right, good to know. Good to know. I will show this to Zale so he can commit it to memory. Okay, good to know.
You guys give your skateboards. Ends up costing you a whopping 2 gold in total, and all 4 of you end up getting skateboard.
Hell yeah,
Unless you want
with style now.
More. All right, cool. And
do they have longboards?
Yeah, longboard. Yes.
Eliza on a skateboard.
Fuck yes.
In her pantsuit and her long coat. She's got sunglasses on and she does not give a fuck.
I love it.
Sure.
Hands in her coat pockets. Her Every single time you do this, it's like the cloak of billowing with your trench coat, though. It's like majestic.
Uh,
Oh god,
You
Babette is just so
guys,
classy. She does not belong on a skateboard.
Who, Babette?
Yeah, she's wearing
Yeah,
like a
Eliza.
skirt and like this nice big red shoulder paddy coat.
yeah, none of you guys look like you were supposed to be carrying skateboards right now.
We
Y'all
don't know that though.
are
No, well,
much weirder.
Hanu's dressed like a conch head, though, so she's the only one.
We're skateboarding around, and we
The-
think we're so normal.
Yes, exactly. The person though you talk to with that persuasion check and stuff, and like really thought that you're just like, oh duh, makes sense. You're mentioning the palace and stuff. You're like ritzy punk and shit. Like that totally makes sense.
You're ritzy and you're also
like,
buying a skateboard, so obviously you belong at the palace.
exactly.
This is helping
I
with
love
our
it.
image, guys.
Yeah.
And
That
We got
she's like our age.
the nice preppy girl from next door with Fee. We got the powerhouse twins with business over here.
Yeah.
And then we got the one skater right there in the middle, like, hey.
This is the one who's introducing me to this skateboarding that you keep speaking of.
your phone suddenly starts going off in your pocket.
Oh, this fucking
I
phone.
think we gave it to Eliza because she's smart. She can figure
Eli-
things out.
Yep.
Eliza's gonna answer it and say yes.
So we were just wondering if y'all were gonna be making your way back here to the garage anytime soon. The rest of the group has already come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're coming.
Tell her we got skateboards.
We got skateboards.
Yay.
She says it. Say it
Skateboard.
for a fact. Like we have skateboards. Like that's a contribution.
Yes.
Can't wait to see them.
Alright.
What's up?
Yeah.
And the rest of you would have arrived just moments before that. She'd have been like, "Now where's Hanu? Not like her to be the last one to show up." Y'all look certainly a little worse for wear than when I saw y'all leave. Something happened?
This place is weird. Just strange to have to stare at things. Weird.
Oh,
Speaking
maybe
of-
that'll explain some of these weird adjustments that I saw made to Buster. There seems to be some sort of power core. It's attached to the back of Buster here. Not only did they make this thing a lot bigger, but there's some sort of power device on the back of it that I thought was maybe for charging it. But it seems to be completely unrelated. I could charge it up right now, but I don't really know what it's drawing its energy from.
Mind if
I
I
want to
take
run a little
look?
bit of diagnostics, if you'd like to.
Actually, one thing I was gonna check real quick before I do that. Can I press on Victor's phone and try to find the redial button?
Isn't
To
it
redial-
dark?
Yeah, I'm charged. I
Yeah.
charged it so I could talk.
Ah.
So can I press the redial button to the last phone call before Kelly?
Give me an intelligence check.
You have to
Very
navigate
intelligent.
the menus of a phone.
18.
Okay. You see a little symbol there. You think it might be it. You press it. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh, 14. If it rounds Armin, 17. He's
Oh,
probably doing rounds Armin.
And
It's a 17. Uh
I am distressed.
oh. I'm scared.
Long DM silences mean death.
I know. I don't like this.
What did you summon, Zale? This
I have no idea.
I wonder how long Chance has been fucking
Oh!
waiting for you to do
Points
that.
of psychic damage.
Oh!
Holy
42
shit.
points of damage. You are. Where's your health at?
91.
Alright. Was that half of your HP?
90. No. What? No. It wouldn't be because I need to do. It would have
You're
to be
safe.
45.
Good.
Oh, fuck.
You feel it suddenly. Oh, something spoke through the other side of that.
oh
Something said,
It was a god.
and
yeah.
your eyes bleed out from it. You drop that phone, you get really dizzy from a moment as you drop it. And it is like there, and that thing suddenly blinks on the end of it. You see the caller ID on it says Takaroa.
Oh god.
So just like looks at that and then looks at just like.
And it's not spelled correctly, by the way. It says Taco Roa.
Hell
Oh.
yeah.
Word.
Oh my god, I'm fucking dying.
Cell just like holds his like bleeding ears and just looks like, what the fuck, Victor? Why did you leave this phone here if it can communicate to gods? Oh fuck.
I've been waiting for that one.
Takuro is unimpressed.
Thank God I was at this level, or otherwise that would have more than half my health.
That would have been. I would have had 2 hit points left if I'd done that.
Yeah, I have 49. I'm just to take you a little bit, take you more life.
That's so beautiful.
Kelly, actually, that does not look so good.
No.
That's not a side effect of just all of these cell phones here. No, that doesn't make sense. Why would they carry them around with them so easily?
Okay. So you might not believe this. So that phone, I point to it. I just leave it on the fucking ground. I go anywhere close to it. That phone right there was left by Victor. Remember Victor?
Of course, I remember Victor.
Yeah. You know Hanu's thing, her god, right? Takaroa?
Mm-hmm.
I think Takaroa just talked me through that phone. You know, an actual god.
If you're talking to Hanu's God, that's even more of a reason for us to be able to make sure she gets here right now. I'm gonna go ahead and give her a call. And she turns around and grabs her phone, and
I go to Arthur. I go like limping to Arthur. My ears bleed. It's like, Arthur, can you heal me?
inhale, stupid. And
I didn't know this was gonna happen.
minutes
How's that make me-
later, Hanu arrives while they're still kind of bickering with each other. And
How is Hanu gonna feel about the fact that Zale has Takaroa?
Oh, she's like, oh, dope. So he's actually being more social. I'm so proud of him. She would actually
Look
think.
at his like freaking like his ears bleeding.
Yeah. She's just strolling around like on her skateboard and like steps off. And, oh, wow, that's gnarly. What the heck happened to you?
So the phone that Victor had, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Victor. So it looks like he was talking to lost on his phone to Takaroa.
Oh.
So I called Takaroa.
Taco Roa.
Yeah, Takaroa.
She looks over at the phone and just sees like she'll just light up the screen. She doesn't press anything else. She'd be like, "Wait, is it still on? Like, did you
Is
end
it
the
on?
call? Yeah, did the call end?"
Call ended.
Okay.
That's when he
Yeah.
called.
Yeah. So she'll just look at it and be like, "No, that makes sense, huh?"
Hey, honey, do you mind healing me a little bit?
Mm, I can't heal bad decisions. I'm sorry. she hooks up the cell phone. Just take a short rest, okay? If you need me, I'll be there for you. She gives you a few good berries. There you
I
go.
am gonna go look at.
Savage.
I am gonna go look at Kelly's thing. Just walks away.
Oh my god.
His fucking short rest is fucking him looking at just at the
No,
light.
she's just like, I can't heal that too, bro. I'm just gonna be tapped soon.
Chance. I
The
need to know.
stressful check is the problem.
I need to know. How long have you been waiting for that to happen?
Says fucking
I
part
hate it,
Valiant. Yeah. It's fucking Port Valiant. That was a while ago.
And she'll glance, and she'll ask for help to navigate his call history.
You just heard the words of creation being spoken casually in a phone call. It was probably like, I thought I told you to stop calling me here.
No.
Thinking it was like, and then all of a sudden pleading. It's like, oh, it sounds like the cries of agony from a mortal. I'm gonna
Yeah, like, oopsies. Hearing everybody in the background being, oh my god, what's going on? Reminds me of that small one that Honey always hangs out with. Whatever. But she'll ask for help to navigate the call menu to see who else he's called throughout there. It's like, oh my god.
I was gonna be like, wait a second. How'd you get here? You're not supposed to be here. And you're gonna be like, I'm tired of hearing this.
But
Yeah, no. Here's the best part: is that the gods are now aware of the fact that we have time traveled. Like, very explicitly aware, not just like casual.
I mean, yeah, Takuro is gonna be like, you did this behind my back.
Yeah, and Takaroa, like the gods are like across the multiverse, right? So they
Yeah,
it's the same Takaroa in this universe as the one from Hanu's. If she were to play right now to Takaroa, then it would be the same Takaroa she's had conversations with in the past. You'd have memory of it and everything. Benefit of having a god on your side.
Yeah, so she's just like, that was weird. She would just look through his call list to see if there's any other gods he's talked to first before, like, looking back to everybody else and be like, well...
Yeah, unfortunately, doesn't keep a list of all of his prior calls. It just actually called the last one.
Is this the last one? Okay, so okay, so he's like, huh.
You let him see it, you just get to hit the redial button, and then it
does he have any, like, does this keep, like, you said, wait, Kelly, you said that you deleted a lot of numbers? Would this have stored numbers in it, too?
I'm not touching that phone. If it has something to do with gods,
listen, I will handle it. I'm kind of curious. I'm not gonna press the dial button. I just want to see. Okay, anyways, I think I know who he would be talking to. Probably some random person too. Yeah. So, flips the phone, lets it charge.
Fucking take a short rest. That shit fucking hurt.
Yeah, it's like healing word is not gonna heal this, bro. That's a lot of damage. You look worn.
Yeah, almost happy.
As this was happening, she's also gonna show off the skateboard and like do one or two tricks that are extremely simple that she saw, and like if you do that, yeah, it's great. I'm doing an ollie.
Pretty well on that damage.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
No, Zeal's in the background, like on a couch in agony, and she's just trying to do an ollie. Hey, look at me.
Why did you roll a percentile?
Oh, percentile?
Yeah.
So 300. 57.
I think you're alright.
Last time we said that, it didn't go well.
Okay, but so you guys needed me here? Like where am
We're
I?
all taking a
As
short
far as those things go, Zale has a 90, and Anu's is a 99. Armin's is an 84. That you are a 72. Not good.
And what is
Actually, other than Tirana, yours is the worst as far as your sanity score is.
Oh, yeah, that's honestly
72.
though, that's fair. Also, have I walked by any windows and like seen my reflection at all since this all started?
They've all been lit from the other side.
Oh, okay, so I haven't really seen my reflection yet.
It's daytime still.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it isn't now that you guys are coming out of the movie theater.
Mhm.
It's now getting close to being night.
Yeah, it's dusk. Probably.
We
It's
were
winter,
probably-
so it's.
We were probably motoring our way back to the garage though, so we weren't really focusing on
Yeah.
Exactly.
windows. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's coming up soon.
Well, if you want, I could just pray to Takara and say sorry we accidentally called you, because I feel like that's the polite thing to do.
So short resting gets back to at least the 86 health. You know, after fucking taking 42 damage.
Anu has a 99. Hanu
Yeah.
would have to roll. It is impossible for Hanu to have her sanity go down. Just not possible.
So that was my sanity check because I talked to a fucking god.
Okay.
So I had to remember to your 90. Gotcha. Oh,
It's just like,
Chill.
I mean, it's up to you guys, but so what's the goal for the night?
well, it seems like you can't attack us directly yet. I don't know if that's gonna change on the third night, but right now it's just doing mind games.
Yeah, I figured. Oh, wait, Sale, something very interesting you might find, and she'll hand you all the notes from, the stuff that she had noticed, from the movie and the symbolism of, since she's used to scrying and stuff, she's picked up, like, a few things of, focusing on certain areas and whatnot, so she's doing some really, like, basic
that
cinematography.
Probably been watching the movie from a theatrical
Yeah,
standpoint.
and then she would
been,
put, like,
figuring out metaphors that we're trying to be
yeah. She'd
portrayed
she'd include that in there. It's like there'd definitely be notes that is Hanu's notes that are definitely Babette's. They're just discussing this.
all of the stuff that Babette got from the dude about all the Paradox movies and what Eliza.
So I was just kind of looking at So it seems like in this alternate timeline, we made different choices led to a different path.
Yeah, something very dangerous happened in that area.
Something that made us want to side with Yellow.
So I'm curious, honestly, to see. I mean, did we go there first? Who knows the series of events that drew us there?
You sided with them. Based off of the series of films, that you can see that there seems to be a chronological kind of story told out between these plus films that are here. And I will give you guys that thing.
Okay.
It was it's something that you guys would end up spending a portion of y'all's long rest going over, because the guy kind of rattled on for a long period of time. That's why it was an investigation check first. It was to see the amount of information you got, because it was the quality of cinema buff nerds you managed to find.
Yeah.
She found the best. She found like the guy who went
Thank
years
God for Hanu's guidance and his guidance.
and then
So I'm like, yep.
yeah.
It's like, I believe in you,
20
Babette. You go. You go in there. But so yeah, she'll be telling that, and she shows like Babette's notes there, and be like, if you need to ask her for like further, you could probably. And she's She seems to be doing okay. She almost got. I don't know if this is true or not, but I think she almost got eaten by a coat. But anyways, don't tell her I said that. She will whisper.
No, let's. In case.
Highlight is that Avel became within that ended up costing the life of the queen, who sacrificed herself, put the entire country underneath an edict until the paradoxes saved Avel with the help of Yellum.
So it looks.
And that's something that I
like...
picked up from the movie guy.
Yeah.
No, that was the highlight of it. Avel got really fucked up by some evil devil stuff from within. And
then
the queen sacrificed herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
witnessed
Walk.
smaller.
Yeah, I mean,
so that would point out that. So it looks like in this timeline we actually end up a lot further north than we were intended.
something happened. Yeah.
And it looks like, from what you told me and what this guy was talking about, it looks like we weren't here at all to do any of our infrastructure to.
No, that's not true.
Oh no, but I am.
No, everything is the same. Up to the point of the same date of everything that you know about how far we were and everything you've done in Allvale, same.
Okay.
All of it, same.
All of
We went
gotcha,
up to Yellum,
Of getting
out. You were in Yellum trying to find an ally, and instead found Victor, a different ally that had gone missing.
But we haven't.
You've heard about rumors of Victor because his door appeared inside of that town on Witch Hill.
And everybody
when
was
his door
talking about that.
So yeah, we as characters don't know any of that.
Yeah. No, well,
Gotcha.
Shani does know that Victor appeared there for some reason. We don't know, but we know bits and pieces. Everybody else still doesn't know what Victor does.
Let me rehash that then. Zell would then say, then that. Why would we side with Yellow?
I mean, we were looking for somebody and we found somebody else. Victor. I mean, he came back from the office, wherever that is.
Exactly.
Maybe an office.
The chronology of this is that all the stories seem exactly the same, all the way up to the things that you're doing now, all the way up to the same war stuff, and then you guys snuck into Yellum. I mean, it even displays you guys as if originally being on the side of Avale and being friends to the Queen and all of that. None of that is not in there. It's all there. And you guys are in Yellum before you guys have become like super significant, and you are seeking rumors of Skathic, and they don't call her by that name in there. They call her the Crow. And there was in that opening scene of aerial stuff, there were crows flying and stuff over the forest and shit, which the cinema buff person would have pointed out as, you know, being an homage to like the last movie where they said that they were going north to find the crow. But now they're up there, and the whole movie has nothing to do with the crow in that one. And this one, it has to do with you guys becoming sidetracked in Yellum because you heard rumors of a doorway appearing in this town. And you guys went to that town and followed those rumors, seeking Victor as a sort of side thing. As a result of that, you ended up solving some ghost stuff. I guess in the next film, that ends up getting you on the bad side of witch hunters in Yellum. You guys got you guys get captured at the beginning of the next film and are held as prisoners of war in Yellum until evil stuff happens inside of the prison that you're in. And this one is a paradox in prison, and is a particular favorite like of many people. It's
Not just the movie buff that we spoke to.
oh yes, especially the movie buff you spoke to.
Okay.
So it seems like we should.
And by the end of that prison thing, the people that were your wardens become your allies, and you guys end up allying with them briefly, and you're supposed to have meetings and conversations with higher leadership about maybe trying to, like, maybe we could talk them into, like, not doing this war and stuff. When all of a sudden Yellum becomes completely engrossed inside of an edict. The queen evidently sacrificed herself to enshroud the entire country in a time stop.
Yeah.
And and you guys and there are demons literally like occasionally spilling out from around out of it.
Okay.
And
so
Yellum is now fighting hordes of demons to help you guys get to Avale, to help break the stasis of an entire country. And so with Yellum's help, you guys end up saving Avale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Queen had already...
Guys,
Thanks to the queen.
Listen. Something goes on in the moment that we get arrested. The unrest that's been happening here gets out of control.
And from looks like, if this is the case, where looks like then if that moment, that weakening state, the Order Asmodeus, if they're in line with
Probably
demons,
I mean,
sweeps in.
I don't know why we're going up north to do something when there is still so much fracture over here. Something to keep in mind, but still.
Yeah, don't know exactly. But if we do go up north, it seems like if we hear a rumor of a door opening, we should not take that. We should find the crow that we're going for, and then return.
Or we have the crow help us.
Yes. And so it seems like our previous selves, their order of operation didn't go so well.
This is a prophecy of ourselves to us currently, and I'm pretty sure that movie critic, what he called himself, was probably an oracle, given that he can decipher a lot of these things, because he was doing a lot of interpretation with Babette. It was very impressive.
Honestly,
yeah.
It's just theater.
I mean,
it was theater talk.
The way that
it was an artist's interpretation of what was happening.
Well, that's what you do with
so
when you have
who knows
dreams.
how accurate it is.
But no, still, like whenever you have dreams and all this other stuff, an oracle has to shift through them. So that was very impressive. She's trying to give you a compliment, honestly.
Yeah. And Babette is like not fucking taking it.
She's like, okay, whatever.
She's like, no, this. She's like so mad at you guys. She's like, I'm not gonna take a compliment. Fuck you guys.
Okay.
So kind of like hand on shoulder, both of you kind of like, it's all right. I understand where you're getting at. I don't know why we go north for this crow. It must be important why we went up there, even though it's stinky and everything.
Oh, is it fate again?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, honestly, we're not supposed to... Okay, I'm gonna stop myself before I said that.
But it
the whole
seems...
us being in Avale, and she'll gesture to Arthur, wasn't, and I guess, by the book. The gods aren't looking at us right now. We are in their blind spot.
Did you not just speak to a god, Sam?
And I think that was a more of a god was like thinking that a god was going to talk to another god. I think. Because this is Victor.
She'll glance. So, she will look over to Arthur. What happened with you? How did Avale fall? I know you mentioned that I worked for Romado. How did Avale fall?
I think just so let's chime in, Hanu, before Arthur answers. You do have to keep in mind, just explain the time, a little bit of time. Arthur's timeline is completely different than us, in both technological wise, as your communication, as you were telling me, Arthur. There's cars flying. What seems like we're on right now is actually our timeline, but a deciding point changed,
Yes.
like a
So,
branch.
But there has to
But
be
for
constants. Something is
Let me-
constant here. There are points in time that intersect.
oh yes, that's what I'm thinking. Is that
wait. Let me get this straight. There's multiple versions of us in multiple different places.
yes,
It's not just me, there's other me's. There's not
there's
just
other
you, there's other
there's
Fuck
other
you
there's
guys.
other us, and there's also other us in different timelines where technology and magic can be totally different, be less or higher. But you're right, Hanan. When I was talking to Frederick and everything, there's anchor points in time where certain events would happen. No matter how much time would change, these events would happen. Even if, say, it's slightly changed. Again, like the airship blowing up, how we got here. So,
Oh, of course, that was fate too.
Mhm.
That was a
Arthur.
crossroad right now. That's what I
Yes.
think. Trajectories. I mean, you were talking, and she will motion to Eliza. Which town? I mean, Suntown, sorry. She would say Suntown. I always was told that different energy lines intersect, something interesting happens. Why not with the universe?
No, that's what that definitely.
So
getting
time
with
and the universe
Frederick in my research is that definitely there's anchor points across the multiverse that things happen, especially if we are
Well, in my timeline, the Queen wasn't really the one calling the shots in Avale. It would have been the princess, who was not of age yet to become the Queen whenever same kind of time stop thing happened.
Okay.
but it did happen with time stop.
Yeah, she sacrificed herself for the country.
So the
And then
princess did it.
Omado swept in with its navy led by. He looks at you, honey.
That's a very
And
good point.
kind of a similar approach.
So that's our anchor point then.
Something happens in Avia.
So that means the best course of action is to leave off them. Looks like.
Well,
Maybe.
we need to figure out what's going on in Avia first.
Exactly. I think this ordered Asmodeus is definitely a good indication of what. This is good information. This is. If we didn't have this, then we would just be repeating the same thing we did before. Ava would have.
She's gonna rub her forehead.
Yeah, but I mean,
At the exact same time,
this
rub
version of us,
Hanu.
didn't this version of us also have this information? I mean, they even know about shutter space. We don't know about what this stuff is. There was in your handwriting on the desk.
That probably
Yeah, but
happened
see,
Not really
afterwards.
implying that we're ahead of the game.
Arthur, we probably figured that out far after. We
Far
made
too
one
late to change
decision, one
anything.
branching path. They had to figure this out. We got this information right away. We have the advantage.
I'm just going to say, it does sound like you might be jumping to conclusions. It doesn't sound like we have all of the information.
Exactly. So we need to figure out what pieces are missing. This is just a missing piece that we didn't have back then.
And if that's true,
Well, there
Thinking
are some
myself.
places we could look.
Conclusion that you
Oh,
have.
we're here. We have a whole nother day.
yeah, the atrium. If my calculations
I
are
was
right,
thinking
spend up-
Pridwin.
Perdon, you think
I
he's still
bet.
around?
That
I mean,
whole-
his sky castle still got to be floating up there, right? I say we go up there, Let me see what's there.
Babette
I mean,
pulls out the.
it's kicking. It's only 1983. That guy has lived for how long?
No, I believe that's probably a good option. Especially probably if we get into like. I just worry we are stepping into someone's territory.
I mean,
Unless, and looks to like kind of looks at Tehran and then kind of looks at Arthur. Unless he has a soft spot for you guys. We,
They're both
we
looking
might be,
opposite directions.
yeah, we might be
Babette
in
pulls
a dangerous situation, walking into a wizard's freaking playground. And that's
What are you pulling?
She pulls out the card she got from that chick in the record store. I don't know. This potentially could have something to do with Pridwin, and she's got it like between her fingers.
color's the rose.
Tirana is gold. Tirana kind of pulls her scarf away, and you can see that there's a brooch that's literally the same rose design.
What color is the?
Her brooch is just it's platinum, probably silver,
on the
maybe.
card, what color is the rose?
It's gold. It's
Oh,
gold.
gold.
It's
Okay.
literal gold on it.
Oh,
Uh, what? So what kind of place is this palace you're talking about?
it was. What did they say? Place of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or something like that.
Oh, great. That's
It's
good
not
to be.
the kind of place I'd be interested in visiting.
Hmm.
hmm.
Where's
Celebrity cesspool.
Yes, a celebrity cesspool of
Sex.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
so here's the option.
Art. Don't forget the art.
We do have 3 teams already. We could hit all 3 of those places. Atrium, Protosome,
I mean,
and
it's
this
one
palace.
thing to split up across one mall. Another thing to split up across an entire city.
That might be dangerous, honestly.
So then we don't pick one place.
We'll figure this out.
I mean, I'm completely down for us seeing as many of these places as we can, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
I was just making sure that everybody else understood that it was a lot more dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We could
That's why I threw
branch
that
off
option
to
if there's-
2,
2 wouldn't be so bad.
maybe.
And the size of our party, 2 wouldn't be a hamper.
Yeah.
Question is who goes where?
Is there a typical size for an adventuring party, like guild-wise, in Allvale?
That's a good question.
5?
We have 10, right? What's our
3 to 5 is considered the average adventuring party.
How many people we have with us right now? We have like 12. So it'd be
Um,
6.
Slightly
So,
big
2.
group.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
Yeah, because I don't want to. It does look super suspicious of just a.
Piranha and Maya are gonna stay behind.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2. So 10.
Or
so they can split.
Kelly and Maya or
5-5.
Piranha and Maya?
Kelly and
Okay.
Maya.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay.
Gotcha. So we can split in the 5-5. So
She's gonna, as we're doing this, she will look over to all the other NPCs. I'm sorry you got swept up in this current with us. I understand if you want to jump ship as fast as possible afterwards when things get back to normal, but gotta take each day one step at a time. We're
yeah,
just a small boat in this vast sky of stars and seas. Gosh dang it, Victor! She will just look up at the sky and see where the moon is, be like, okay, fine, yeah. I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Victor.
I don't know how things work here necessarily in this fucking
I
time.
mean, it's a little spooky, but it's at least a unique experience. I mean, I had ice cream.
Almost killed you. Babette says under the breath.
there's a smirk in Zell as he's just kind of looking at all of them.
Pirate lifestyle.
I mean, sometimes lack
With danger.
Zell kind of walks to Hanu and kind of like pats her on the shoulder, kind of looking. I mean, we've already been through some crazy things. I think, even in this situation, we meet these people. They're destined to meet us.
We'll see. They can always back out. Don't feel like you're tied to us. We're not forcing you to take this journey. Okay? Just wanted to get that out. Everybody has a choice.
That is obvious. Our choices were already made, were they not?
Hana smile. Oh, he smiles at Hanu again.
Alrighty.
It's like,
well,
believe Hanu. Just how you believe in all the rest of us.
I do. I just want to make sure.
Feeling especially good that you can adjust our wages to include time travel benefits.
That actually that one. Like she like gives a hearty chuckle.
Alright, she'll nod at that. Okay, well, I guess I should tell you guys something that I've been keeping under wraps for these last 2 weeks, and she will show everybody her conspiracy scrolls. Okay, I have been, and she's, with this new information, she's actually writing out the lineups between the two timelines of Arthur and here. And she was like, I've been keeping this in mind for all this time, so we're setting course. Let's see where the stars chart us. And she spends the rest of her...
Wait. Well, how are you writing this, by the way? Just so I keep a mental track of this.
So
are you writing it just in in tandem, or?
She has the list for you to memorize, but she already has a lot of scrolls she made, and she flips them over and shows people, well, this is the one thing that correlated before, but I then made another scroll that we can flip over. So she's making a new scroll about this current branch that we're on, this parallel timeline. So she has a branch that is... Yeah, she has a branch that is with Arthur's timeline. Now she's just like, and if we do this,
just a bunch of scrolls.
Yep. Is the Red String Brigade.
Yeah, she was like,
yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot.
Hey, Hanu, can I? As Zell's kind of looking at something, he's like sitting down. He's gonna go try to do a meditate. Get that hurt. But before that, he kind of like looks real quick at this kind of like timeline, and then he kind of like bends down. Can I move it real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I usually shift it around sometimes, but
he flips it completely over.
Yep.
On his back.
Yeah.
And then kind of looks at what you're writing, sees where it starts, where you started the line, and writes on the back exactly what you did. Until it diverges, and then he writes it on the back of the one timeline you have, and then he kind of like looks at it, flips it. Huh. That simple.
Yeah.
Flips it back over.
Exactly. I was going to show it to you later. I mean, this is the way that I think, but I also need different perspectives here. She'll look over to everybody else. This is what I've been working on in my spare time when I'm not doing the very... yeah. Anyways.
Two sides of time.
Trying to make sense out of the senseless is a quick path to insanity.
Well, definitely just looking at like flipping them over and flipping back over. Well, it's definitely coming in handy of keeping track of what decisions we made, how the branches start.
There are similarities, there are crossroads. They're gonna always be there. So at least we see a fraction of it. Most of this stuff might not even be relevant anymore, but something to keep in mind.
So kind of like...
Well, if anybody's gonna figure it out, it'll end up being you two.
So like circles the points, airship blowing up. dome around Allville. The 15 years we went. And he like circles the points that no matter what have always happened. Even if there's a difference in time, like a 2 weeks or anything, these are points that always happen. And he kind of just looks over. It's like, huh. Anchors.
I guess there was one good thing that came out of my training as an oracle. She just stands back and just looks, at least from probably on the side where Buster is, like climbs up on there and just looks down at all this stuff from a different perspective and just sighs. Yeah. Anyways, I'm kind of tired, guys.
Yeah. You know, talking to your god hurts a lot. So
He's a forceful
I need to-
personality. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think that we should all sleep at once. I do
I'm
think that
tired too.
matches-
That's okay. I don't sleep.
If we go to sleep, we're just gonna wake up here again, right?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
we have one more day before we go back. Tomorrow it's the last day. And
Living inside of a dream. We
Sure.
only wake up.
I'm going
We
to.
are going to split up. The typical
yeah.
party composition is 5. We
and
probably
Fuse is
should stick to
knocked
that.
out.
Yeah,
I'm going
and
to.
that's just like talking to the people who are still awake.
Yeah, Hanu's gonna pray to at least ask for Takeru to at least give us a brief moment of breathing space here. To at least push away a few things so we can rest up, but she'll try to rest.
Yeah,
Okay. And
Also, she'll apologize for Zale for calling him. Sorry, he didn't know your prayer.
so just kind of smirks, but he's like, it's alright.
Roll me wisdom. No, not wisdom, religion.
Okay, she'll be like, oh no. Religion. 16.
Right. And settle in. You guys digest over all of this information, going over that scroll. Daenerys spends her time meditating cross-legged, floating raven style.
Hell yeah.
And he is just out asleep in the middle of the couch. And
I assume we're all
again,
taking
Kelly is working on.
Oh
yeah, you're setting up the same way y'all did before, and
both Tirana, Zell, and Arthur don't really sleep, so we're aware of things. So, and having like Maya kind of up as well. Yeah.
and we'll pick up with you guys settling down for this rest week.
Oh, third day's gonna suck.
Settling down for night on the second night, going into that third day.
I like the fact that you say we're picking up as we start our long
Yeah,
rest.
I'm like, it's not gonna be that easy, guys.
I'm just thinking, alright, time to test out what Buster can do. Maybe it could be a Ghostbuster.
Man, I am so glad
gonna
that
come.
we saw that movie because I got to like really play up the Babette used to be a theater kid thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
Mm.
guys, this can
awesome.
do a few things with us, but bet you might know how to make sense because theater's not that far away with movies, okay?
Exactly, because she's familiar with
Uh-huh.
it, and she's also like so good at pretending like she knows what she's talking about.
So,
So it
yeah.
was like so easy to
That's-
just pretend she
That's
knew what movies
what,
were.
yeah. That's why I'm like, we don't need to watch this whole movie because it's not gonna make sense. It's gonna take a long time. Somebody likes movies though, Babette, help us. There has to be people like critics out there. Let's figure this out.
So glad that I had both guidance and Eliza's guidance.
God, that
That was
that is so.
otherwise.
That was so much fucking useful information, though. Fuck.
Mhm.
Oh, that now we're knowing there's another anchor point coming up, and probably a fucking big one too, with the
Good thing-
whole.
Good thing you guys had a fucking spy on your team because you wouldn't have found that information out.
Mhm.
Probably.
No, good thing. Oh, it's really good.
And
Mm.
not only a spy,
Mm.
but a
Spy.
spy who used to be a thespian.
That's why she works really well with spies for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we found another anchor point in time. That's gonna be fucking handy.
Espionage.
Thespian.
That's what Babette just did. Also, I just realized, like, Libby is great with a lot of the charisma things that Babette lacks in because Libby is just like, no, fucking tell me, and it just works because it's Libby. Whereas
Yeah.
Babette like knows how people work,
Mhm.
and so she can kind of sneak her
Mhm,
way in.
mhm.
Whereas Libby is like the more
Libby has the natural charisma. She's like everybody's just compelled. You're like, I worked for this shit, okay? I understand
Libby is
how people are.
overt, and I am the covert
Yeah.
in terms of charisma.
Exactly.
Yeah,
'Cause we're both-
exactly.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
Fuck.
I'm stopping.
Martial arts marathon Mondays.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. She actually
I-
before
For the Shadow King with